not. Jeez, that was loud. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep, we can see.
Okay, because I can't see. But okay, good. Welcome to the first session of Schoolic Ignite Flare. So in this course, I guess first disclaimer: we record the main session when we're all together, but in the breakout rooms they're not recorded. So, also a recommendation: you should unmute and turn on your camera in the breakout rooms, which is basically when you go off with your mentor in a group of like 3 or 4 people. But anyways, more on that later. So we're a student-run university club at the U of C, and we're trying to make learning coding fun. Yeah, so actually I'm gonna skip over some of this like this introductory stuff because the assumption is that everyone's learned Python. Like you should know the very basics of Python either from the previous Ignite course, Schoolic Ignite course, which was for beginners, or you've done some of it on your own. But really, like the gist of it, we're going to be covering object-oriented programming. If you haven't heard of it, we'll just get more into that during the actual course. So it's going to be, Schoolic Ignite is going to be run over 8 weeks. I'll also try and get some machine learning stuff implemented this year if anyone is interested. So we'll figure that stuff out later. I'll probably like go ask around like, hey, what topics are you interested in learning? Like, what do you want to see? We like to do, how it works is each session, usually there's like, some lecture involved, and then we have breakout rooms for exercises in between, as well as end of session exercise. And I would say the most valuable part is definitely you're going to be like, you have your mentor to interact with, and also other people in your cohort, and that's like kind of where you get to like ask questions and just do stuff. Here's like the content overview, and once again, what I want to do this semester is try and make it a little more like customized. So I'll try like in the early sessions, I'll ask like, hey, what does like everyone think of this? Just like see where everyone's at, as well as like what concepts you're interested in. And session 7 and 8, we actually last semester we did some machine learning stuff, but it was like the first time we tried it, so that's like still getting ironed out. But yeah, so people actually just curious, like quick show of hands or like chat, I guess, like who's actually interested in learning about machine learning, and if they're interested, like what interests them. Yeah, while you guys dump your stuff in the chat, I am going to continue. The website is schoolikignite.com. You can find that if you just search it up. So the first search result. Actually, it's Schulich Ignite. I'll be mispronouncing it the entire time. Oh, okay. And then you don't really have to worry about they also have a GitHub, so you can just search up Schulich Ignite GitHub. Well, actually, for people who don't have, okay. So that's a slide link so that you can easily click on the links. Yeah, this GitHub thing, you usually don't have to worry about it because we have the links provided directly in, like I usually just send the links in the chat. If there's like, oh, here's some template code, you need to use it, then I'll probably send it directly. Okay, so something we have to try and encourage you guys to stick with the session and just do the exercises is called Ignite Points. It's like a reward system / mini competition for participation, attending the, consistent attendance, and just like doing projects. So yeah, top 3 prizes, you'll either get Amazon gift card or you can choose one of these programming courses to do. And so I'll quickly go over how the Ignite Point stuff works, but if you really care, you can just go back to the slides, ask your mentors in the breakout rooms. But basically, when you attend multiple sessions in a row, it's like a streak score and it compounds. So example is here, basically, if you're like, if you attend the first session, you get 5, but then the second session, you get 10, and it's, you just keep getting more and more, but then once you break your streak, it's like, oh no, now it's reset. So you can see how that would get you quite a few points. And then you have quick questions, which are worth 10 to 20. And it would just be like randomly, I might, next slide, if it was a quick question, I'd be like, what type of animal lives in like, I don't know. But yeah, it would just be random. Obviously, it's going to be a coding question, not some random animal question. But it might be like, what is a for loop? And then everyone who answers it correctly gets it. And there was going to be a platform for that. It's called Top Hat. I think we'll set it up later. It's not really much setup. It's just a sign up. Also, if anyone has questions, you should throw them in the chats like immediately. And usually, I think one of the mentors can answer you. Because I'll probably just be talking, but I talk pretty fast as well, at least for this stuff, because I do want to get through like the intro stuff pretty quickly. So if you miss something, just feel free to like throw it in the chat. Okay. And finally, you have your end of session exercises, which we might do a little reworking. So previously they were like, it was like, oh, make a rectangle, like bounce off the edges of the screen. And I think maybe in the first few sessions, we might still have it like that. But what I wanted to do was give you guys like more opportunity to like apply your own creative twists and just be like, okay, like we just want you to use rectangles in Pygame and do your own thing with it, or like use collisions and do anything with it. Like I think that's kind of what we're leaning toward this semester. If you guys prefer, actually, I guess I'll ask this stuff at the end of this session. Maybe after the first session. But yeah, so these things you just get at the end of the session. Not this one, because this one's intro, but it'll be like, okay, now that you've learned this, go apply it, Okay, finally you have the Ignite point spread. Tell me this is the right one. No, it's not. Whatever. It's not up to date yet, is it?
Fall 2020. It's not up to date yet.
Huh?
It's not up to date yet.
Okay, guys. Basically, you can view like how many points you have on this Ignite point spreadsheet. So right now it's not up to date, but this is what it looks like. This is people from last semester. So you'd be like, oh, who's first? How many points do they have? And you can go into like Wednesday Flare, and you can be like, oh, I got attendance score for session 0, blah blah blah, etc. Okay. Oh yes, we have a Discord as well. I strongly recommend joining the Discord because that way you can chat with your mentors. You can ask them questions. It's like so good. So if anyone hasn't joined already, you should join it like right now. Are we still doing this channel thing? Okay, you know what? I'm going to assume it works. There should be in the bots channel, once you join the Discord. Yes, bot commands channel, you will be able to join a group just by typing these commands here. It's exclamation. You can come back to this later. But basically adds you into like a little channel, like gives you get a role and you're like, okay, this is the group chat. Personally, we don't actually use that much. Honestly, you could just DM your mentor. That's probably like either the help channel or just directly messaging your mentor is like the best way to get help. Because in my experience, these little group chat things don't get used much. So, yeah, finally, we're going to have end of the session gala, which is usually people create games and you just get to share your game, get some feedback. Actually, yeah, you get to build a game, get some feedback, share it with everyone else, have fun. And yes, usually we have like industry professionals come in, so you can ask like, oh, what's it like working at Google? How can I work at Google? Something like that. Okay. Yeah, so now it's a bunch of installation. This session is like a bunch of installation, and then after that you have icebreakers. So honestly, I think at this point it's better to run through it in the breakout room. So I'll go through these slides quickly, but you can come back to them later. So it's really just we have like Python, which is the language that we're using, and then you have VS Code, which is how you're gonna run the language. Pygame is the library we're using. So just like, okay, if you guys haven't heard of what a library is, It's so you have like your coding language, and then you have like it's like code that people already wrote to make your life easier. Otherwise, there's like more work to do. It's like, oh, how do I make like a window display stuff? It's like, don't worry, I've already written code for that. I got you covered, and that's what Pygame is. Obviously, Zoom. If you're here, you know what Zoom is. So yeah. Okay, you know what? Breakout room time. We're gonna go through all the slides up until like these icebreaker things. And really, it's just like, just talk to your mentor. They're in university. If you have questions about university, ask them. If you have stuff about high school you want to talk about it. Also, unmute and camera are like so preferred. They make the breakout rooms like 10 times better. So yeah, let's go. Get the installation stuff. Oh.
Yeah, so you should have received an email of which you're in. If you don't know, then you can just ask me.